Are being introduced in England to combat the COVID-19 Omicron variant. They will include tougher measures around wearing masks in some public spaces, the reintroduction at various venues of COVID passes, which will see people required to use proof of vaccination or proof of a negative COVID test. There is also work from home guidance being introduced.
But from Monday, you should work from home if you can. Go to work if you must, but work from home if you can. Second, from this Friday, we will further extend the legal requirement to wear a face mask to most public indoor venues, including theatres and cinemas. Third, we'll also make the NHS COVID pass mandatory for entry into nightclubs and venues where large crowds gather, including unseated indoor venues with more than 500 people, unseated outdoor venues with more than 4,000 people, and any venue with more than 10,000 people.
Omicron cases in the UK are thought to be doubling, according to scientists, every 2 to 3 days. And those scientists warn that if that trend continues, even with a largely vaccinated population, it could lead to a huge wave in hospitalisations in the coming weeks. These new measures are designed to slow the spread of the Omicron variant. The UK's had more than 10 million confirmed COVID cases in total through the pandemic, with over 140,000 deaths. Around 21 million people have already received booster jabs in the UK. Boris Johnson is trying to make it clear, though, that in his view, the new measures do not represent a new COVID lockdown.
I want to be absolutely clear with you. I don't believe we can keep going indefinitely with non-pharmaceutical interventions, I mean restrictions on people's way of life, where just because a substantial proportion of the population still sadly has not got vaccinated. And I think we're going to need to have a national conversation about the way forward and the other things that we can do to protect those who are hard to reach, who haven't got vaccinated for one reason or another, who may have medical reasons why they can't get vaccinated, other ways of protecting them.
Those comments were seized upon by some Conservative MPs who believe that Boris Johnson was hinting at the introduction of mandatory vaccinations. But today, the Health Secretary Sajid Javid has rejected the idea of mandatory jabs. All of this is controversial, given that Boris Johnson is introducing tougher Plan B measures to slow the spread of Omicron at a time when figures in his own government are accused of breaking COVID rules this time last year. The controversy deepened after initial reports in the newspapers about various potential parties in Downing Street when a video emerged. It was filmed on December the 22nd last year. Number 10 officials can be seen joking about questions about a party.
Today.
Do you recognise those reports?
I went home. Hold on.
Would the Prime Minister condone having a Christmas party?
What's the answer?
I don't know. It wasn't a party, it was cheese and wine.
Just be clear, it's not.
Is cheese and wine all right?
No.
It was a business meeting.
I'm joking.
It is recorded. His fictional party was a business meeting. And it was not socially distanced.
That's Allegra Stratton at the podium. She was at the time Boris Johnson's press secretary, and she was rehearsing for a new style of press briefing that never actually launched. She then became Boris Johnson's spokesperson on climate and the COP26 summit. But because of that video, she's resigned and apologised. Boris Johnson has also apologised for that video, not for the party, which he says he's been assured never took place at all. But many are furious at the perception that Number 10 officials were not following rules, that they were telling the rest of the country to do so. Now, Chris Jones is joining me live from London for more on this controversy. Chris, A lot of the attention has been focused on that December the 18th party or event, whatever it may have been or not. But that's not the only alleged episode in which rule breaking is claimed to have been taking place by staff close to Boris Johnson working in his government.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. There's also reports of events happening on the 27th of November and the 10th of December too. They're just two other dates that we're hearing of potential kind of Christmas parties held by the Conservative government last year, and that all comes at a time where social gatherings were really banned, meaning that lots of every kind of citizen across Britain couldn't meet their families and loved ones, and that's made people extremely angry and made them kind of mistrust this government. Now, we heard that kind of audio from Allegra Stratton at that mock press briefing. She's now resigned, but the opposition Labour Party wants it to go further. They're calling for a police investigation. The police have said that they won't investigate just yet because of a lack of evidence, but nevertheless, there is an inquiry ongoing into exactly what happened, how many events were held, and what happened at those events. So all of this is really putting pressure onto the Conservative government and also Boris Johnson.
Well, it comes, of course, at a time when Boris Johnson's imposing new restrictions on people to try and slow the spread of Omicron. And critics say that is going to mean that public compliance may not be as high this time around if people feel that Downing Street officials weren't following rules that they were imposing on the rest of the country. What is the government saying about those claims?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those the Plan B measures are coming into effect on Monday the 13th. That means more wearing of masks and also not being able to go to certain things without COVID passes. But also the government is, it's really being questioned on the decisions that are being made in terms of these Plan B measures because of this whole Christmas party debacle. But the government is urging people to separate the two issues. Professor Chris Whitty, the chief medical advisor, has told people to separate the Christmas party issue and the introduction of the new measures. And also Health Secretary Sajid Javid, he says, "My job is to do the right thing, led by evidence." And the evidence is from the scientific experts that this Omicron variant is spreading throughout the community, and without measures could increase to rates that is kind of unmanageable and place pressure on the National Health Service. But no matter what decision the government makes, they're bound to come under scrutiny with this whole Christmas party issue ongoing.